or I was cracking everybody. I had started recording and then realized I was a little bit off. Anyways, so here we go. This one is gonna be because one of my subscribers or viewers, I don't know if he's subscribed or not, asked me about the time when I escaped from boys camp, Los Prietos, when I was a kid. Um, and for the record, I AWOL twice. Um, when I was a kid, the dudes from my neighborhood, we always escaped. So, like 99% of us, we escaped. So as soon as we got there, we're like, what the fuck? There's no fence, there's no wall, but you are in the mountains. There are mountain lions and all kinds of shit. So, anyways, let me get to it because I'm running out of time on my break. So, um, the first time I AWOL, me and my homeboy, fiestas were coming up, right? In 1989. Fiestas were coming up in Santa Barbara, and we wanted to go because we knew, the homies are gonna be banging, we're gonna be doing this and that. So let's go. So we said, okay, in the morning when everybody's, making their beds in the dorm, we're gonna bounce. So that was the plan. So sure enough, the next morning, I looked at my homeboy and I was like, let's go. So boom, me and him, my homeboy Tijuas. Shout out to my homeboy Tijuas. He got deported. He's down there in Mexico, doing really good with his life. I'm proud of you. Um, so we ease on down the dorm, get by the door, open the door, play it off, boom, we break. We run outside, right? As we're running, like I could say the name. There was a dude from the east side. I'm not even gonna say his name. He jumped up and yelled, "AWOL, AWOL!" And I turned because I knew I knew this fool's voice, right? And I turned around just to make sure, and I saw him pointing at me. There's the camera right there. And he's pointing, AWOL! And I was like, man. So the staff come running out the dorm, and me and Tijuas take off running. But this other fool, I'm not even going to say his name out of respect for his family, but he was a ranker, right? He comes running. So he AWOL with us, right? So we take off, we get away, boom. And, they send the Rangers out and all this shit. Well, it's kind of graphic, guys, but we were healthy in camp back then. We would, you worked out a lot, you ate a lot, you could get seconds all the time, sometimes thirds. Everybody got pretty healthy there. But your metabolism, like, we had to take that morning shit after we took off running. And me being, we got to where there was a little hill where we could see if anybody was coming, the Huras were coming, and we would be able to get away from any side on that little hill we run. But we had to do that, the squat, and immediately I told the dude that was not my homeboy. I told him, "Hey, give me your shirt," and he was like, "What?" I said, "Fool, I'm gonna wipe my ass with your shirt. Give me your shirt." So basically, I punked the dude, right? He gave me a shirt. Boom, I wiped my ass, and then my homeboy wiped his ass with the same shirt. Different part though. So, anyways, um, right when we were done, the Huras came running. We had to run down the hill, and I'm just gonna call the guy Ranker. Me and my homeboy Tijuas is from Mexico, and he was no joke. He used to talk about climbing hills for cigarettes when he was a kid. So he was able to get away. Like I didn't even. This bottle was like that movie Predator, Holmes. Like you knew he was there, but you couldn't find him, couldn't see him, and so how you doing? And so it was me and Ranker, right? And so I had a thing for this dude. Didn't like him, didn't respect him at all. And it was fucked up because his sisters were real cool. But anyways, as we were fucking running, if you're running downhill, you don't really run. You jump. You jump and you jump. But this moron decides to run, right? I'm in front of him. And next thing you know, he just like a snowball. He's just rolling down the hill. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm laughing because he's going towards a big ass rock. And in my head, I was like, hit that rock with your face, fool. And he landed right next to it. And he looked, he like picked his head up and looked at me laughing. And the dude had dirt all in his teeth. So we took off. And so for hours, we were hiking. And so there came a point where um, we hid in a bush and we were by a place called Red Rock. Red Rock is right next to the camp. We were hiking in basically in a fucking circle, and we got in this bush. It was a round bush and for some reason the middle was empty, and so we laid down there. But I had a plan. You know, you guys got to remember, I was a different person back then. I had a different type of mentality and different way of wanting to do things and deal with things. So my homeboy Tijuana said, "Hey, homie, I'm tired. Let's just take a nap and let the Juras think we were gone, right?" So I was like, "All right." So he lays down and he pulls his beanie down over his eyes. The ranker was like, "Fuck, I lost my beanie." Oh, I pulled my beanie out quick and I handed him my beanie. I go, "Here, you can use mine." And he looked at me like, because he knew that I didn't like him. And I go, "Go ahead." I go, "I'm going to keep watch for a little while." So he puts the beanie down over his eyes. And I'm waiting and I'm watching. I'm looking around, but I'm watching the ranker, right? And I'm listening to them breathe. And when I thought they were both asleep, I creeped out and I grabbed a big ass rock. Big. I had to pick it up with two hands because I was going to kill Ranker in the bush, right? So I sneak back into the bush. Everything's going fine. And I creep up on the Ranker. And when I lift up the rock in both hands to smash him in his face, I stepped on a fucking little like patch of dead leaves or something. And Tijuas immediately pushed. I don't know if he could see through his beanie, but he pushed Ranker and rolled, and the boulder landed right next to where his head would have been. And he looked at me like, "Fuck, you were gonna kill me." And I was like, "All right, let's go." I just like, "Fuck it, okay. I'll try again later," right? So the rest of the day, Tijuas was trying to figure out how to get us down from the mountain, and I was trying to figure out how to kill the Ranker. Sick, right? Whenever we would come to parts of the mountain, or man, it was so crazy. Anybody from around here that's been to Los Prietos, you know how it is up there. Well, anyways, so we're going and going. Anytime that we would get to a patch where there was like a lot of thorny shit and we didn't know where to go, guess who I sent first? Ranker. You're first, fool. This fool would fall on him, and I'd be like, I know which way not to go. I would step on him to go. Hey, I'm not proud of this, like I'm laughing because it was funny at the time, but when we think back, that was just a trouble kid, trying to fit in, claiming every neighborhood he could, and nobody liked him because he had some weird things about him. But anyways, the question was posed to me about why telling the story was, did I ever make it to the store? And the thing is, whenever anybody AWOL from camp, you wanted to make it to the shooting range. It's not a shooting range building. It's a part of the hill mountains up there where you're allowed to pull out guns and shoot at target. You could put a fucking refrigerator up there and light it up, right? That's where you want to get to. Long story short, because I'm late in my break already, we hiked for about 7 or 8 hours and wound up exactly next door to camp. We got lucky. Some paisa showed up, and we asked them for a ride. The ranker said, I live in Goleta in Goleta, California, right next to Santa Barbara. He said, and if you give us a ride to my pad, I'll give you guys money. And he came up with like $50, $100 or whatever. They were leery. Of course they were, because I'm sure they knew we had escaped because camp was right next door and we had the camp shorts on, camp sweater on. But we kind of bulldozed our way in. And I remember when we got to Goleta, when we got to his pad, he ran to his house to get them money and came back with a fistful of quarters and nickels and pennies he probably stole off the fucking dresser. And I remember I fired on him for not holding up his end of the bargain. Again, Tijuas was like, "What the fuck?" The paisas were like, "Hey, it's okay. And they were going to give us a ride to the west side, to our neighborhood. But I was so mad that this dude didn't pay him that I said, "Nah, we'll walk." Bad idea. We were in enemy neighborhood, enemy city. Every neighborhood in that city at the time, I think there was 4 barrios in Goleta. They all hated us. They really hated me. We spent the night in a bush, but not before one of the main dudes from N Street, he passed away, rest in peace, Eli. Him and Big Mike Torres from Goleta, they ran into us. And honestly, if it wasn't for Big Mike, Goleta would have had me and Tijuas that night. Eli wanted it to happen. Gracias, Mike. But yeah, that's the story, man. We AWOL'd. We took 8 hours to go in a circle and land right 100 feet from where we started. We got chased by snakes. I tried to kill the ranker like 3 times. Um, and we made it back. Man, it was so crazy. I might have to do a part 2 to this because my break's over. Got a long ways to go. Let me grab my glasses. I always forget my fucking glasses. Um, Hopefully this one was interesting for you guys. I have the second AWOL story. If you guys want it, I give it to you. But I gotta go. Everybody be safe. Tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.